Morning Chats with Sack, and I'm Sack. It's been some time since I did a Monday morning chat. So if you don't know me, my name is Sakina. I've been doing these chats for like 5.5 years, almost six. And I got this idea from one of my best friends. And for the last 15 years I could possibly think of, I will always get on social media and give some type of encouragement, some type of advice that I think will help people. And one of my best friends said, "Hey, you should have like a segment, say like chats with Sack, like Monday mornings, pick a day." And I was like, "Oh." And I started this in 2019 and I didn't realize how much it encouraged folks on social media. And when I stopped, it was noticeable. What I would typically do, I would create the videos on Instagram and then upload them to YouTube. And so I've been having some issues like when Instagram made their changes to like reposting and downloading the video. I realized that I was having issues to uploading the videos on Instagram to YouTube. So I just thought it was best to have my videos directly on YouTube. So if you find this page, thank you. Welcome. I hope that it encouraged you. And if you feel like this message can be helpful for someone else, definitely send it out to them. But today I just want to talk about like believing in yourself, believing in your capabilities, and just having the courage to do the things, all the things that your heart desire and whatever that may look like. If you hear me snuffling, I have severe allergies. And so this past weekend, we had some good weather in the DC area. And because of that, my allergies flared up. So I did take medication. It should kick in probably in another hour. So I apologize about the snuffles, but I am not sick. I am in good health and I'm good. I am good. So this I want to say over the last month I've been in deep reflection about life, like where I'm at, thankful for the things that I have, and also prayerful for the things that will come. And usually sometime when you're thinking about the things that can come, you think about like when they're going to come, right? And I think that can build anxiety about trying to figure out the timeline. And what I've learned is to really just trust the process. And so over this last, I want to say month, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and I'm really big on emotional intelligence. I teach my students about emotional intelligence. We just had a class about that 2 weeks ago and really understanding what that means and how emotional intelligence can help you in your personal relationships as well as your professional relationships. And these are the things that I teach my students. And so I listen to podcasts about that. I'm reading a book about emotional intelligence. I need to finish it so I can read another book. Um, the podcasts that I listen to, I like the Oprah Winfrey Soulful Sunday podcast. I love Brene Brown. I listened to one of her interviews. Love Brene Brown. If you don't know about her, definitely research her. I listened to like this healing childhood trauma episode from the Oprah Winfrey's podcast, and it was amazing. Like, although I knew about these things about if you really want to understand somebody, like really pay attention to their childhood because it will tell you a lot about them. And although I knew those things, just listening to the podcast just gave me some more tips that I believe that was very helpful. And I listened to Club Shay Shay's podcast where he interviewed so many people, but he interviewed Wallow 267 and Gilly the Kid within the last 2 weeks. And those interviews were very good. And I really appreciated it because we're all from the same city, Philadelphia. And so just listening to them about their outlook on Philadelphia and their commitment to thrive was definitely something that I could relate to. I like the Pivot podcast, and I listened to one interview. I listened to several, but I listened to one interview where they interview Mel Robbins, and she's amazing. If you don't know anything about Mel Robbins, definitely look her up. But in this podcast, she really talked about her book called Let Them. And so if you look on social media, you see different memes that says Let Them. Pretty much what it's about is just like letting people be who they are. And then you just make the conscious decision if you want them in your life, right? If you want them in your life. And just listening to all the podcasts is me having deep conversations with my brother and some of my friends and just looking over about life. I really thought about this idea about what it means to really believe in yourself, right? And just having the courage to do that. And it just made me think about my childhood. My brothers and me, we would just dream about the life that we wanted. And I mean, we were like kids all under the age of 10, where we dreamed about this life that we wanted. And this life really consisted of us like buying the things that we wanted, doing the things that we wanted without any restrictions. And the thing that I dreamed about is that I just never wanted to be poor, and I never wanted money to be an issue. Like that was something that I dreamed of, and I dreamed of being a lawyer. Like I dreamed that at a very early age, around 8 years old, and I was like, "Hey, I want to be a lawyer." I knew that being a lawyer meant you were able to help people, but I didn't know about the various capacities that a lawyer can help somebody. I just knew that I wanted to be that. Like looking at various TV shows and seeing the lawyers, and most of the lawyers that I looked at was more so in the criminal defense aspect. And I never had a desire to do criminal defense, but just seeing how they were able to help somebody in a time of need, that was something that I always desired. And I love social studies. I love government. I loved um learning about politics, and I just decided at an early age like that was something that I wanted. But at that time as a kid, I knew what dreaming meant, right? I knew that it was this idea that you could be hopeful for something to come. And even though you don't have it, I really felt like, and I think my brother can agree with this, is that dreams allow us to escape our reality. It allow us to just go to a place where we have never been, but we hope to get there. And that was something that dreams did for me. It allowed me to escape what I was currently facing, but to be hopeful for something that was to come, right? Whether it be 5 years, whether it be 20 years, whether it be 30 years, but I was just able to really escape to the place that I want to go. And growing up the way I did, um, I appreciate the childhood that I had, and I appreciate the things that my parents have taught me, and I am grateful for what I've learned and the experience that I had. But I also understand that my parents only was able to parent to their level of understanding. And although they tried, maybe they didn't give me all the things that I wanted. But at the time, I didn't know what I really wanted at that time. And so it was just a matter of seeing things on TV about the things you think you want and the life that you think you want. So you pray for those and you dream about it with the hopes of like actually getting it. And the one thing that Gilly said was like you can dream about things, and then what people fail to realize is that those dreams that you have, they can really become your reality, right? They can really become your reality if you put the work in. And as a kid, like I dreamed about these things, but it wasn't until like as I matriculated through school, like elementary school, middle school, and high school, that I was able to see people in various positions, and I realized that they got there from some type of work, whatever it is. And all I kept saying to myself is that if I put the work in, I can do it. I had a conversation with my aunt the other day, and one of the things that she shared with me is that my younger cousin will always share with her that one of the ways to get out of poverty is education. And my aunt never knew this, but that was my mindset. Like that was my goal. And so when it came to like studies and like going to college, going to law school, going to grad school, like that was my mentality that I stuck with. And I said that I'll struggle now, but I'll reap my reward later. And so just having this idea and believing that you can really get the things that you want if you put the work in. You know, as a professor, I think about why I decided to teach. And one of the reasons why I decided to teach is that it's so fulfilling giving back. But not only is it a fulfilling of giving back, I always think about what I needed from a professor and what I needed from people when I was a law student, when I was in undergrad, and I try to figure out how can I be that. And that's what I am to my students, right? I give encouragement, I give a lot of support, and I realize that some students need that and they may never tell you, but you can see through their actions that they need it. And being a professor was something I never thought that it would happen. Like I knew that the job existed because I had professors in my lifetime, but how to get there, I didn't know. And it wasn't until I got just more exposure and just started teaching at a adjunct level that, hey, this is possible. I just may not know the route to get to where I need to be, but just really believing in my capabilities. And I tell my students now, it's so interesting how you can have a class of smart students, whether they're in college, whether they're in law school, grad school, and you see the potential in them, but sometimes they don't see them themselves. And I just try to encourage them and say, hey, like you're amazing, you're great. And I hope you believe that. I hope you believe those things are true. And then I realized that you got to have it within you. Like, do you know that you're amazing? Like, do you know that you are great? And when I think about these things and people's full capacity, their full potential, it makes me think about their childhood, right? What are the things that you were taught as a kid? Um, who told you that you can do it? Who told you that you will be successful? But who were the people that told you that you'll never amount to anything? Who were the people that doubted you, right? And even though people can be adults, like those thoughts can still hold space in their head, rent free, and those are things that people never let go of. And so when I think about like believing in yourself and I think about people having the courage, it always makes me think about how people view themselves. Like, do they view themselves as being capable? Do they view themselves as the person that's able to make things happen? Or they believe that none of those things exist? And one of the things that I was praying to God about, and I had a conversation, I was like, thank you for giving me courage. Thank you for giving me courage to believe that no matter what, like I can do it. And I would tell my colleagues, and it's interesting because one of my colleagues said this the other day. It was like, you're always willing to jump out in the fire. And you're always willing to figure it out, even if you don't know. And I realized that I've learned that long time ago. One of my mother's old employers, he was a black man, very successful. And I think he was probably one of the first black men that I've met at that time that was super successful. And I was like, how did you get there? And I was like, and I remember I was like 12 years old. I was like, how did you get there? And the one thing that he said to me, he was like, always be willing to do the work that no one else is willing to do. And when I say that stuck with me, that stuck with me. And from that point, when I started to work and there were hard tasks, I was willing to say, you know what? I'll do it. And they're like, do you know how to do this? I was like, I'll figure it out. And that made me irreplaceable at various companies that I work for. I was like, hey, you know what? I don't know this, but I can guarantee you that I'll learn it. And once I learn it, I'll be great at it. And I've learned how to be a valuable asset everywhere I go. And while some things were hard to do and sometimes I doubted myself, I just had the courage to know that it's possible. I gave myself grace that I'll make mistakes. I gave myself grace knowing that I may fall, but I'll get back up and I'll do it, right? I'll do whatever it takes to just like really push through, to really push through. And so for those that are watching, I just want you to ask yourself, like, how would you define who you are? Who are you? Where are you trying to go? Do you believe that you can get there? Who are the people that's in your circle? Are there people around you that believe that you're possible? Do you believe that you're possible? Um, is there a lot of negative self-talk around you, right? What is your mind saying? Like, what are the things that you're hearing when you think about yourself? Like, do you believe that you're amazing? Because all these things start with self. I was listening to this brief snippet video on Instagram by Issa Rae, and she had a clip about like what does love mean compared to how she reviewed loves now. And 12 years ago, she believed that love can come in all different forms and accept the love that comes to you, right? And you just never know what you may love, but just accept the love that comes to you. Be open to love. And now, when she did the clip now, the whole idea about love is loving yourself, right? Loving who you are, accepting your flaws, and knowing that you are a work in progress. And I love this actual clip because it shows us that over time, your idea of how you view yourself will change from your experiences, your circumstances, and also how you view other things may change. This whole idea of love. And that when it comes to love, I believe that you should be open to it. But you are what you attract. So, what are you attracting? Who are you now? What do you welcome in your life? Do you love yourself? What does it mean to love yourself? How do you define that? Is it healthy? And all these things, these questions that you're thinking about, you should look inward and say, how am I viewing this? Am I just accepting anything? Because if I'm accepting anything, that says a lot about myself. If I don't believe in myself, it's talking about some things that I need to work in the inside. And so I just want you to have the courage to call those things out. Learn who you are. Be open to grow. Be open to learn. And be open to make the changes. I've learned that sometimes some people may never grow or have this capacity to believe in themselves because they're stuck and they're set in their ways. And when you're set in your ways, you are not open to change. And when you're not open to change, it is difficult for you to grow. I think about, um and I don't know if I have an answer to this, but I'm seeing like so many love experts on social media. I don't know if they're married. I don't know if they're in a committed relationship. I have no clue about none of these things. And some of the advice that I hear folks give, it's just like, would people really listen to that? And it's making me think about when people are looking for courage and people are looking for someone to validate how they show up and how they do things, do they go to social media? And if so, what are you listening to? Because what you put in your soul can really affect how you show up. And the reason why I do these videos is that I will be 100% authentic. I'm not afraid to tell you my flaws. And I'm not afraid to tell you the work that I've done and what I'm continuously doing. And if you look at any of my videos, I've been very honest about various things. But I've learned that, in order to grow and to learn, you gotta talk about it. And I'm grateful for therapy because it allowed me to look at things that I kind of put to the side or did not pay much attention to. And the one thing that I've learned about like therapy, and one of the things that was really shocking to me is that once you make the decision to heal and you are open for growth, and this is a continuous thing, you will look at the people around you differently. And the people that gave you advice on how you should show up in life, sometimes that advice may not be as helpful. And you have to ask yourself, like, if you believe in yourself and you know you're capable, are the people that you're listening to, do they affect that? Right? Do they cloud your judgment? Do they distort your judgment of how you view yourself? And this year has been more of releasing the things that are not for me and welcome the things that are meant to be. Because if I believe in myself and there's positive talk around me and I have the courage to do all the things that God wants me to do, I want people in my environment that are positive, that want to see me grow, and we can help each other because I believe in community. And so that's where I'm at in my life. Um, that's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at. And when I said that I was in this reflective state, this year marks 10 years that I had my business. And I got a little bit emotional the other day because I was emailing a client and I was trying to get a document for this client. And this client been with me since the beginning. And I just think about when I look at the oldest document that I prepared for this client. I remember at the time I wasn't sure if I could be a business owner, and I didn't know exactly what that meant. Did that mean longevity? Did that mean like a temporary thing? And over the course of 10 years, I believe that it came with really believing in myself and knowing that I can do all the things that I put my mind to. And just having a little mustard seed of faith can go a long way. And being courageous. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for everything else. I'm thankful for the healing process, believing in myself that I can heal, releasing the things that are not for me and welcoming the things that are for me. It's just been very eye-opening, and this whole process of healing, and because I believe it's continuous, and going to therapy and showing up as my full self, it makes me look at the things that I was taught as a kid and saying, wow, that doesn't sit with me as an adult. And as my healthy self, that's not something that I want to adopt for my life moving forward. And I believe and I know that I have and I will create better, healthy habits. And I'm just grateful for the growth because growth doesn't come with age. It's not a line. And as you get older, it doesn't mean that you'll become wiser and making better decisions. That's a choice that you make. And I'm just grateful for the choices. And I just ask God to give me discernment and making sure that I make even better choices as I move forward in life. So that's all I wanted to have. I wanted to say, sorry, I wanted to say today. But I hope that you have the courage to really believe in yourself and your capabilities and know that you deserve good things that's coming to your life. I think sometimes the reason why people don't get the good things that come in their life because they don't believe that they should receive it. And once you have this healed, all of this healed, you're able to recognize that you're not perfect, you're a work in progress, and you are worthy of good things. I really believe that those things will attract you. So I hope that you're putting yourself in a position where you get the things that you want and you deserve it. So that's all I have. I hope that you have a great Monday. I hope that you have a fantastic week. And it is Monday, so I would like to shout out to all the men out there. I just want you to know that you're amazing, you're great, you're powerful. Um, I hope that you give yourself extra love today and every other day. And I look forward to doing this again very soon. So thank you so much for listening and have a great week. Take care, guys.